Hey guys, so I made it to Utah. This was I've lost count, a 19th or 20th time going across the country. It's I believe the eighth time I've towed cross country. I consider East Coast to Utah to be cross country, even though it's like not coast to coast. Anyway, I had some really nasty wind going through Texas especially, and then part of New Mexico. And I tell you what, that's a bummer when you're towing something high profile or driving anything high profile and you've got gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour. It's intense. I typically get about anywhere from like 12 to 13 and a half miles per gallon when I'm towing. And I had, on this one particular day, I got like 7 because the winds, I was going straight into the wind. It was crazy. But that's not really why I wanted to jump on here. We don't really care about that. I wanted to talk about a comment that I get a lot when people realize that I am traveling by myself and towing this big rig alone and setting up alone. And a lot of the comments have to do with like how brave I am and how cool it is that I'm just like living my life, and man, I wish I could do that too. And it's always kind of bothered me. I don't think what I'm doing by towing alone and traveling alone is brave. Brave is like running into a burning building to rescue people, or, you know, going to war to fight for your country's freedom, or jumping in front of a bullet to save someone. Like, that's bravery. There's a lot of people who demonstrate true bravery all the time. And to me, traveling and with RV isn't brave. It is uncomfortable. It can be scary. It's definitely sometimes challenging. But my ability to deal with that discomfort and those challenges and the unknowns, I don't think that that's brave. I think that that's more just my willingness to be uncomfortable. Because the things that you guys don't see, or that anybody who comments on how brave I am, they don't see me white knuckling it as I'm descending a mountain, or having to pull over and give myself a pep talk before I drive a road that, you know, I know is going to be scary to me. They don't hear the dialogue in my brain. I could make a sport of worrying, you know. People don't see that stuff. They only see the woman who's out doing it alone and traveling by herself, and is, you know, and that's so seemingly remarkable just because you don't see it often. But I'm here to say that there's really nothing remarkable about it. I don't have any special sauce. There's nothing like, you know, extraordinary about me that allows me to do this. It's really just, I think, determination and some grit and a willingness to do the things that are new and scary and uncomfortable, with the knowing that eventually those things that are new and scary and uncomfortable will no longer be new and scary and uncomfortable. There's always things outside of my control. There's always situations and challenges that I encounter. But over time, with my willingness to take on stuff that is kind of unnerving, unsettling, challenging, I have become more and more resilient and confident in my ability to do things that maybe I don't really know what I'm doing in the beginning. I'm confident that I can figure it out. I'm confident that if a challenge comes up, help will show up, and that I will find the resources and the assistance that I need. There's a lot of, I think, a lot of faith and a lot of faith, probably, even more than like self-confidence or self-assuredness. I just know that things work out. And so they do. And with that knowing, then there's really nothing to fear or to be afraid of. Look, like the way I view it is, I have this life. I have this life in front of me right now. And I'm in the sweet spot of it. I'm in some of my best years right now. And I will be damned if I'm going to let those years just pass me by while I dream about the things that I want to do and long for the places I want to go and have the experiences that I want to have. I want to go do them now, because now is what I have. I have now. I have this moment in front of me. I don't know if I'll have tomorrow or next week or next year. I don't know. But what I do know is I have now. I have now, this moment. And so do you. And so my question is, at what point do you kind of wake up and recognize that this moment is all you're guaranteed? And what you choose to do with this moment is the most important thing in this moment. So I am driven past the fear and the discomfort and the unknowns. I have those moments a lot. There's a lot that like scares the crap out of me. But my desire to live a full life, I want a life well lived. I am strongly motivated by that. And discomfort, unknowns, fears, those things don't stand a chance against that strong appetite I have for living now, today. Not next year, not 5 years from now, not when I retire, but now, because now is what I have. And now is what you have. And if there are things that you want to do that you're not doing because of fear, or because you don't really know how you can make it happen, or the unknowns, you are wasting the gift that is in front of you, which is the current moment. And that is such a tragic thing. I was really struck, and I talk about this, I've talked about this a lot with friends and family over the years. When I first started traveling in 2017, I bought my first travel trailer, and I would, go to these different campgrounds, and it was mostly campgrounds. I had a little rig, so I didn't have to stay in RV parks like I mostly do now. But I would see a lot of older couples, well into their retirement, who were, had these big fancy Class A's, and they would usually bicker. They'd fight, as they pulled in and tried to get situated, and the man would yell at the wife, and she'd be trying to motion him, back, and it was just like, ugh. I would see these people who had obviously spent a lot of time, I assume, working hard, making the money to buy this $400,000 or $500,000 rig. And here they were now in their mid to late 70s, sometimes older, and physically not able to do a lot besides, sit outside and drink wine and watch TV and talk. And I thought, it seemed sad to me, and I really began to consider the lie we're told about the American dream and how absurd it is, how we work so hard our whole lives. We give companies, corporations, the best years of our lives. We spend the best years of our lives slaving away. And then for what? So that we can enjoy the tail end of it? The tail end of your life. You can't do the same things that you can do in your sweet spot, you know? I'm not going to be able to do the same things at 75 that I can now at 39, you know? And I recognize that. I want to do all that I can right now with the body that I have, with the fitness and the health that I have and the vitality that I have in this moment while I have it. And not hope that someday when I get old and can retire and have the freedom and flexibility to do whatever I want, then maybe there's a little bit of something left, you know, for me to be able to get out and enjoy. I'm doing it now. And if there's anything that I have learned, and hopefully you also have learned from the last 2 years of BS with this virus, is that we're promised nothing. 2020 and 2021, I think, were a big old shakeup for a lot of people. And a lot of the things that we were told and promised, you know, as solid and guaranteed things in life, we found out were not. We can't let promises or yearnings for some future event or life dictate how we live now, because that future may never come. But now is here. Now. You have now. So I'm not brave. I'm just hell-bent on living the best life I can live now. And I think that we all need to do that.